Good morning, Miss Colley's class. Hello. I thought I would start by doing a little fun, cool mask for you today. I hope you like my awesome hair. I hope you all are having a cool day. It's nice and warm outside today, so this hat's kind of hot. I see you. Anyway, it's pretty fun though. Got a big head. Anyway, well, obviously I can't read with this goofy thing on, so I'm going to take it off and read to you our first chapter of I Survived. Now, this is about the shark attacks of 1916, and we're going to read about it. Remember, these are based on true story. That does not mean they're actually true. Okay? They've just got some true things. Chapter 1, July 12th, 1916, Elm Hills, New Jersey, in the Matawan Creek. The feeling of terror came over 10-year-old Chet Roscoe, a chill deep down in his bones. He had been swimming in the Matawan Creek by himself, but he had an idea that someone or something was watching him. Then he saw it. What do you think he saw? A large gray fin slicing through the water like a knife. What is it? What could it be? A shark? That was impossible. Elm Hills was miles and miles from the ocean. How could a shark find its way into the little creek? There's no way. But now Chet could see it coming toward him, the gigantic shark, bigger than Chet himself, the black eyes staring up through the water. Killer eyes. Chet dove toward the shore, pounding through the water, kicking with all his might. His feet touched the bottom, and he was running now, looking over his shoulder. The shark was right behind him. It was huge, jaws wide, its white dagger teeth gleaming in its blood-red mouth. Chapter 2, 9 days earlier. July 3rd, 1916, 9 o'clock a.m., the Elm Hills Diner. The Monday morning breakfast rush at the Elm Hills Diner was finally over. Chet's feet ached. He was covered in syrup, donut crumbs, and bacon grease. His curly red hair was damp with sweat, but he was surprisingly happy. Uncle Jerry was paying him a fortune to help out with the diner this summer. 15 cents a day. Can you imagine getting paid 15 cents a day, thinking that's a fortune? But in 1916, I'm sure that was a lot of money. He felt rich. Chet liked being surrounded by familiar places and hearing folks calling out his name while he worked. Best of all, he was finally making some friends. His first since he came to live in Utah with Uncle Jerry last January. He was staying here for a year while Mama and Papa were in California on business. Chet was wiping down the counter when the front door banged open. He smiled when he saw Dewey, Sid, and Monty rushing toward him. They came in every morning on their way to work at the towel factory. Chet had seen them at school, the loud boys who were always talking about baseball, but he hadn't gotten to know them until this summer. Did you hear? Dewey said, his freckled cheeks red with excitement. You won't believe it, said Monty, whose speckles were fogged from the humidity. Who knows what speckles are? I want you to comment and tell me if you know what speckles are on the slide. Type in if you know what speckles are. You'll have to make a text box. Let me tell him, said Sid, pushing his friends aside. He was the shortest of the three and always in charge. It was a shark. And then they all started talking at once. A shark attack. It was huge. Bit off a man's leg. There was blood everywhere, and the man is dead. It happened right in the Beach Haven, said Monty. Beach Haven was about 70 miles south of Elm Hills, right on the Atlantic Ocean. Chet had heard about the fine hotels there and the people who swam in the ocean in their fancy bathing costumes, but he'd never heard of any shark attacks. Uncle Jerry appeared in the kitchen, his bright blue eyes shining, and his thick hair neatly combed back. The guys always stood a little straighter when they saw Chet's uncle. He'd been a baseball legend growing up here in Elms Hills. He could have gone pro, but he'd hurt his knees sliding into home in the championship game. The team won, and Uncle Jerry could never play again. He still limped a little after the game. After the he still limped a little after a long day of work. "What's this about a shark?" he said as he passed out cinnamon donuts to each of the boys. "You fellows aren't trying to fool us again, are you?" Chet knew the guys loved to pull pranks. On the last day of school, they put a frog in Minnie Marston's lunch pail. She was the she was the prettiest girl in school, but she'd been so mad her face turned an ugly shade of purple. "We're not fooling," Monty said, pulling the rumpled piece of newspaper from his trousers pocket. "Look at this," he said. He handed it to Chet. It was from New Jersey Herald. The hair on the back of Chet's the hair on the back of Chet's killer shark attacks this summer. Next stood up as he read the story. Uncle Jerry read over his shoulder. "Killer shark attacks swimmer. July 2nd, 1916, Beach Haven, New Jersey. Charles Van Zant, 25, was attacked by a large shark on July 1st while swimming chest deep in chest deep water. He and his family were vacationing at the luxurious Ingleside Hotel. Mr. Van Zant, known by all as a man of exceptional charm and great promise. He was swimming with his dog when the attack occurred. The beach was filled with fashionable ladies and gentlemen enjoying early evening breezes when panicked shouts suddenly echoed through the air. A large black fin could be seen swimming towards Mr. Van Zant. Onlookers screamed warnings, but it was too late. The shark brutally attacked the young man, as he struggled to swim ashore. A lifeguard and two men rushed to his aid and finally managed to free him from the water. But he died a short time later of his injuries. This is the first shark attack on a human ever recorded on the northeastern shore of the United States. Uncle Jerry laughed. Chet stared at him. His uncle was tough, but did he really think a man getting ripped apart by a shark was funny? "Boys, that article is a hoax." "It's a hoax. It's a joke. Or not true. Like a legend kind of thing. It's a hoax. It's not a true story." Uncle Jerry said, "A shark will not attack a human. It's a proven fact. Haven't you ever heard of Mr. Herman Ulrich's?" None of them had. The guy was a millionaire. Uncle Jerry said, "Owned a big shipping company. One day, let's see. I think it was about 25 years ago. This gent was out on his yacht with his rich friends, not far from New York City. They were out in the ocean and they sailed right into the big school of sharks. The ladies screamed, Ulrich's put on his bathing costume, and drove into the water, practically right on top of those sharks. To prove the sharks wouldn't attack, Uncle Jerry said, he made a real commotion, splashing and kicking, even shouting at the sharks, and wouldn't the sharks swam away. They were scared as rabbits." Sid glanced at Chet and smiled. "And that's not all," said Uncle Jerry. "Mr. Ulrich has offered a $500 reward to anyone who could come up with one case of a shark attacking a human on the northeastern shore of the United States." $500, said Dewey. "That's crazy." Maybe Uncle Jerry said, but nobody ever collected because the shark simply will not attack a human. "That cherry pie over there is more likely to attack you than a shark is." But then a gravely voice spoke from the end of the counter. "You got it wrong. Some sharks are killers," it was Captain Wilson, who came to the diner every day for breakfast. A long time ago, he had been whale watching. He had a watching ship captain. He had been a whale watching ship captain. tongue twister a little bit. But now he puttered around the creek in his broken down motorboat. Usually, he had a dazed look in his face, in his eyes, like he wasn't sure where he was. But now Captain's eyes were sharp. You've seen some sharks, Cap, Uncle Jerry said, refilling the captain's copy. Seen one, Captain said, a white shark. Almost bit me right in two. That's so, Uncle Jerry said, winking at Chet. I don't know. I don't want to scare you, lads, the captain said. Please, sir, Monty said. Nothing scares us. We can take it, Sid insisted. Chet realized with a happy jolt we included him. Uncle Jerry went back into the kitchen, shaking his head. All right, then, the captain said, looking around at the empty diner. But gather close and don't scream too loud. I don't want to upset the other customers. What do you think that the story's going to keep going and be about? I want you to write below on the comment section and tell me about it. You can also comment down there the answer to what you think spectacles are. Oh, almost gave it away. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow.